Dear Mr. State Secretary, dear organizers of this conference, and ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to present in 10 minutes is a teaser of a presentation which I've prepared for Wednesday afternoon within the robotics. The question is, I was looking for a combination of robotics as a driver of innovation, and this has probably a place for today's session. So I start with initiatives of the European Commission and the question, why did they decide for a public-private partnership in robotics in 2011-2012? Well, first, robotics is a pivotal technology. It's a technology which is horizontal in many applications, and I'm going to show many of those applications in my third slide. It is robotics is driving the competitiveness of industry. At this moment, we have about a growth of 10% in robotics worldwide, and we assume that service robots will pass over industrial robots in 5 years in terms of volume in the world market. We have many societal challenges we are trying to respond to with robotics, and excellence in science is something we are going to drive also. The European Union funded 700 million in this public-private partnership under Horizon 2020 and expected, and this is the public part, and the private part was an additional 2.1 billion euros to put into this approach. In those days, the expected impact was to create 75,000 new jobs with robot producers, but also robot suppliers and service industries. I'm not mentioning all these numbers now. You can read those. And a lot of spin-off companies. This was the idea in 2011, but current statistics have shown robotics have surpassed already these figures, and it is my idea now and my task, my objective, to see how Serbia can take part in this innovation scheme and how Serbia can take part under the umbrella of the European Union and take advantage of these developments. I mentioned robotics is a pivotal technology. You see clockwise agricultural robots. Precision farming is very lucrative now. In manufacturing, it is well known, but collaborative robotics is new, where human workers and robots work together. Prosthesis is part of robotics. You see also applications in health, in hospitals. You see applications in oil and gas industry, in inspection, cleaning, decommissioning of nuclear power plants, civil rescue, delivery, disposal of, you see, logistics is probably the second largest innovation industries now in robotics, and autonomous driving is certainly also part of robotics. So where can Serbia take part in this race for robotics? Or should we leave this to major European players, or even to Asian players, or to American players? The membership on the private side of this public-private partnership is now 258 members, and different from the Framework Program 7, where the European Commission alone suggested call text and call programs and funding programs. Here in this public-private partnership, the public side is only giving a framework. The private side, which is the stakeholders of robotics in Europe, are making suggestions. They are preparing a roadmap. And this is, these are pictures. They prepare documents. The Strategic Research Agenda is a very high-level document for the strategy of innovation in robots. A multi-annual roadmap is produced every year. And you see topic groups are working. This is now 100 and more experts are working in 24 topic groups to develop this roadmap, which is given to the European Commission as a suggestion for the funding program. This is an exercise which could be transferred into a national scheme like here in Serbia. This association is not only working in this partnership with the European Union, but it also has activities in trade fairs. I mentioned the European Robotics Forum and awards, but very important is the annual Robotics Week, which is for schools, and getting schools already not only to look into robots, but also to be interested and motivated to learn the STEM subjects. This is the mathematics and science subjects, so which is very successful. And now you see here the Serbian coordinator for this European Robotics Week. Last year we had 6 projects from 6 schools in Serbia, and I hope we have this year many more. I'm very quick in innovation with robotics. We had some of the previous speakers were talking about innovation. Unemployment is one of the most critical developments. Unemployment in Europe on this map, especially on the right-hand side, youth unemployment. It's a very critical situation, and the question is, how can robotics help unemployment? This chart was shown by my previous speaker. You see, this is the indices according to the Oslo Manual done by the European Union and also the OECD on performance, innovation performance. The message here is these indicators, these indices are a composite of 24 indicators, and the question is then to look at each indicator. Now Serbia has the red arrow. To see where does Serbia perform in terms of these 24 indicators, and this is something I will look at in my speech on Wednesday afternoon. It is very important to make this discriminant analysis. One important message is Serbia is quickly moving upwards, so this is a good news. So I also have the UNESCO science report here. These are some positive and negative examples. Positive is greater collaboration among SMEs, youth education at the upper secondary level, employment opportunities and knowledge-intensive factors. I have the whole research report of UNESCO here. Negative is especially poor connection of R&D with the rest of the economy and society at large. Lack of culture of technology and technological entrepreneurship in universities and the government sector. I guess the previous speakers have shown that there are programs now to tackle exactly these bold-face sentences. Absence of an evaluation culture, persistent brain drain of highly educated individuals. This is still something which is really an important thing we have to look at, how to stop that. So, robotics and jobs, what is the relationship? Many people say robots kill jobs, so why should invest in jobs? It's actually not true. If you look at the industrial countries in Europe, robots have created jobs. And especially if robots are produced, not only if robots are used, but if robots are produced by a country, it has created a lot of jobs. So this is something which is really important to know, and it's also some indicator for investment. And as I said, the turnover in worldwide robotics is growing now. Investment by venture capital is now 35% of venture capital is going into robotics. So again, something which is very important. Regional activities, here again, SWOT analysis. I'll make it short because this will be presented on Wednesday afternoon. The question is then, we look at strategies which are responding to the opportunities, threats, strengths and weaknesses. And one of the important strategies is the regional technology transfer, to look at regional hubs. And I'm happy to see that here Digital Innovation Hub in Robotics is taking place at the Belgrade University. Learn from others. I think be open to everybody. Look at your neighbors. Build value chains. Networking is very important. Robotics is not a single science. It is an interdisciplinary science. So this alone is already a challenge. And then now you have to combine this with agriculture, medical science, and so on. So the proximity will help to create an ecosystem where certain companies, technology transfer centers, startups, SMEs, and regional industry, and the Chamber of Commerce, and all partners work together. And proximity usually means a circle of 200 kilometers. I will explain this Wednesday afternoon. So there is an idea to develop a handbook for regions to develop a strategy on robotics in innovation. And these are the sections of this handbook which are under preparation to work how to do a SWOT analysis, how to complete value chains and look at a regional roadmap, develop a regional roadmap, locate a technology transfer center, management of these digital innovation hubs, regional agreements, contracts necessary, entrepreneurship and startups, European and other funding programs, open your doors to the population, because very often the people are afraid of robots. Discussion on jobs and economy is very important. Invite schools. Marketing is very important. So it goes beyond traditional schemes in development of a technology. So I also will present the funding opportunities of within the ICT program under Horizon 2020, which are coming up now, especially in healthcare infrastructure inspection and maintenance, agile production, agri-food. There will be a lot of funding on innovation hubs. This idea of regional structures for innovation is one of the topics of the European Commission now, and it's supported also by the Committee of Regions. So there are, for the next call, minimum 70 to 90 million euros funding for these digital innovation hubs. And until the end of 2020, 300 million euros will be for funding of local, regional innovation hubs and platforms. So thank you for this short teaser presentation. I will go into detail, more detail on Wednesday afternoon, but this is also to initiate the discussion. I'm happy to see how much this is already being done by the Republic of Serbia and by initiatives from the University of Belgrade. And so I'm confident that Serbia is moving much quicker ahead in the future. However, I think from my experience with this association, which is the partner of the European Union, I was the Secretary General until my retirement in early 2016. I think has become my hobby, and my slogan now is "No country left behind" in the innovation management. So, and this is where I am ready to help Serbia if this is desired, and to come up with examples from Scandinavia, from the Netherlands. Maybe this can be of help. So thank you very much.